Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Eric Forrester, John McCook, was sure that if he had Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, as the showstopper in the latest Forrester Creations fashion show, his son wouldn't be able to resist the memories. Eric modernized that infamous Portofino gown that Brooke wore all of those years ago, and they both expected Ridge Forrester, Thorsten Kaye, to crack and return to his Logan. Seeing Brooke in that gown did indeed bring back a million memories for Ridge. He never stopped loving her, he simply felt betrayed when she took the CEO position at Forrester Creations during a hostile takeover. Even though all is well that ends well and the company is back in its proper hands, Ridge's ego still can't seem to forgive the supposed love of his life. The couple has broken up several times over the last 30 years, but they inevitably have always found their way back to each other. That is their pattern, and both Eric and Brooke believed that her walking in this dress would do the trick. The energy was there and Ridge felt all of the emotions and magic of the moment, but this time he isn't caving in. Ridge is known for flip-flopping between Brooke and his ex-wife, Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig. On the heels of every split with Brooke comes a rebound reunion with Taylor, and this time around it happened within hours. Ridge ran back to Taylor, hopped into bed with her, and started to plan their future immediately. It all happened so fast that there was no way that Ridge was going to stick with her until he decided for once in his life to honor a commitment. Even seeing his Logan in that dress isn't enough for Ridge to dump Taylor this time. Instead, he is digging in his heels and reminding both Eric and Brooke that he is currently in a relationship. Even Taylor was starting to become insecure as she saw the writing on the wall. But for once in his life, Ridge isn't going to abandon her in favor of Brooke. At least not yet. How long do you think that Taylor and Ridge's romance will last this time around? The sun poured through the large glass windows of Forrester Creations, bathing the design office in a golden hue. But for Brooke Logan, the light felt anything but warm. It had been a week since Ridge had left her standing on the cliffside terrace in Malibu, her hand outstretched, her heart cracking in slow motion. He had promised clarity, understanding, a decision. And when that decision came, it wasn't the one she had prayed for. A familiar heartbreak. Brooke sat at her desk, staring blankly at the sketchpad in front of her. Lines blurred. Colors bled. Her usually steady hand trembled slightly as she tried to focus on a new spring collection. But creativity wasn't coming. Not today. Not when Ridge had just told her, in the most gentle, painful tone, that he had chosen Taylor. Again. The words echoed in her ears like a haunting melody. "I'll always love you, Logan, but Taylor and I, we have something different. Something steady, something I need." He had said it softly, but each word had landed like a thunderclap. Brooke had nodded, too stunned to cry at first. But now, alone, the tears came freely. Hope confronts Ridge. Hope Logan stormed into Ridge's office later that day, her face flushed with frustration. Her mother had barely spoken since the conversation with Ridge. Brooke had been through countless heartbreaks over the years, but this time felt different, more final. "Ridge, what are you doing?" Hope demanded, slamming the door shut behind her. "You say you love my mom, but then you walk away from her like she's some second choice." Ridge, seated behind his desk, looked weary. He rubbed his temples before standing. "Hope, I didn't want to hurt your mother. That was never my intention." "She's shattered. You told her you were done flip-flopping. You made her believe that you were ready to come home to her. Then what changed?" Ridge's jaw clenched. "Taylor's changed. I've changed. I realized I want peace, and when I'm with Taylor, it's quiet. With Brooke, it's passion, beautiful and wild, but exhausting." Hope stared at him, tears forming in her own eyes. "So you're choosing the quieter life over a real one? Over love?" "I'm choosing what feels right for me now," Ridge replied, his voice low. "Taylor tries to show grace, but can she keep her guard up?" At the Cliff House, Taylor Hayes stood on the deck, the wind brushing through her hair as she held a glass of wine. Ridge was inside, unpacking a few things. She should have felt victorious, but a creeping sense of guilt weighed heavily on her chest. When Ridge appeared behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist, she leaned into him but said, "Are you sure this is where you want to be?" Ridge turned her to face him, cupping her cheeks gently. "I wouldn't be here if I wasn't sure." "But you were with Brooke just last week," Taylor said quietly. "And I don't want to be the fallback choice again. I've done that dance before, Ridge." He frowned. "You're not a fallback, you're who I need." Still, as he kissed her softly, Taylor couldn't shake the lingering shadow of Brooke's heartbreak and the nagging fear that Ridge would run back to her the moment things got complicated. Donna and Katie rally behind Brooke. Back at Brooke's house, Donna and Katie gathered around their sister like a fortress of comfort and strength. Brooke curled up on the couch, holding a throw pillow close to her chest. "You should have seen the way he said it," Brooke murmured. "Like he was doing me a favor, like letting me go was a mercy." Donna's eyes welled up with tears. "You don't deserve this, Brooke. Rich doesn't know what he wants half the time." Katie chimed in, "Maybe that's the real blessing here. You deserve someone who's certain about you, who won't leave you hanging every time another woman comes into the room." "But I love him," Brooke whispered. "I always have." Katie gently took her sister's hand. "Then love him from afar. But don't let that love destroy you." RJ returns and has words for his father. RJ Forrester returned from Europe unexpectedly, having heard about the family chaos from social media rumors and a worried Hope. When he found out what Ridge had done, he wasted no time seeking out his father. "You know Mom's hurting, right?" RJ asked, standing at the door of Ridge's office. Ridge looked up, surprised. "RJ, when did you get in?" "Just now," RJ said, walking in. "And I wanted to come straight here because I need to know what you were thinking." "I wasn't trying to hurt her," Ridge replied. "But you did, and honestly, Dad, this back and forth with Mom and Taylor? It's not noble, it's selfish." Ridge flinched. "It's complicated. It always is with you," RJ said sharply. "You always say you want peace, but what about Mom? When are you going to stop treating her heart like a revolving door?" Eric's surprising advice. Eric Forrester invited Brooke to the Forrester mansion for dinner, hoping to lift her spirits. She showed up, hesitantly, wearing a soft blue blouse and a quiet smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Brooke, you don't have to pretend with me," Eric said, handing her a glass of Chardonnay. "I know this is killing you." I thought we had turned a corner," she admitted. "Ridge and I thought we'd finally grown up." Eric gave her a sympathetic look. "Sometimes we grow apart instead." "I don't know who I am without him," she confessed. "You're Brooke Logan," Eric said gently. "One of the fiercest, smartest women I've ever known. And you survived worse." She nodded slowly, wiping a tear away. "I just don't want to be alone." "You won't be," he promised. "And maybe, just maybe, being alone for a little while might show you how strong you really are." Steffi and Thomas celebrate, but worry. At Forrester Creations, Steffi and Thomas were visibly relieved by Ridge's choice. Taylor, their mother, finally seemed to be getting the life she deserved, the man she deserved. "I think Dad's finally waking up," Steffi said with a small smile. "Maybe this time, it'll stick." Thomas nodded. "I just hope he's doing it for the right reasons." "You think he's not?" Steffi asked. Thomas shrugged. "I think Dad's heart is always torn, between loyalty and love. Between what's safe and what's exciting. Between Mom and Brooke." Steffi frowned. "Well, if he starts wavering again, I won't let him hurt Mom." Brooke finds her fire again. A few days later, after sleepless nights and tear-soaked pillows, Brooke stood in front of the mirror in her bedroom. She stared at her reflection, red eyes, pale skin, pain etched into every line of her face. And then she did something she hadn't done in days. She breathed. Not the shallow, broken breaths of heartbreak, but a deep, grounded breath. And then another. "I am not defined by Ridge Forrester," she whispered. I am more than his choices. The next morning, she walked into Forrester Creations with purpose. Her heels clicked with determination. Her eyes were clear, focused. When Ridge passed her in the hallway, their eyes met briefly. He paused, clearly expecting sadness or confrontation. But Brooke just smiled, a soft, bittersweet smile, and walked past him. It shook him more than any accusation might have. Deacon surfaces. A wild card emerges. Meanwhile, across town at El Giardino, Deacon Sharp got word of Brooke's heartbreak through the grapevine. He sat quietly in his office, thinking about the woman he had never quite stopped loving. He knew she was vulnerable right now. But he also knew Brooke Logan wasn't one to stay down for long. Still, part of him hoped this latest chapter might finally open the door between them again. He picked up his phone and sent a simple message. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here. The end of one story, and the start of another. Brooke read Deacon's message late that night, curled up in bed with a book she wasn't reading. She didn't reply, not yet, but she didn't delete it either. Because as much as her heart still ached, she knew this might be the beginning of something different. Not necessarily romantic, not necessarily immediate, but something that didn't revolve around Ridge Forrester. Brooke Logan was grieving, but she was also evolving. And for once, her next chapter wouldn't be written in Ridge's handwriting. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Boldy and BAUTFUL UPDAT YouTube channel for more update news.